The initial indication that all was not as it seemed did not come from the man lingering outside. It belonged to Naomi, a haunting reminder of what once was. She had long stopped adorning herself for my gaze. The moment caught me off guard, the way the rich crimson fabric embraced her form with intention, her makeup strikingly flawless, and the vitality in her movements that stirred something long dormant within me. She radiated an undeniable allure, and not due to my actions. As I sat at the dining table, my fork aimlessly tracing patterns on my plate, she glided past me, heading toward the door, stirring something deep within me. She turned away without a second look, her hand brushing against her coat as if escaping to a world far more enticing than this moment. "Where do you find yourself headed?" I inquired, gently placing my fork aside. Naomi lingered, her fingers tightly clutching the coat rack, a storm of emotions swirling within her. "Leave," she whispered softly. "Free." That one word carried a depth of meaning that eclipsed everything she had expressed to me in what felt like an eternity. "With whom shall we explore this uncharted longing?" I pushed forward. She let out a breath, finally facing me as if I were an unwelcome distraction. "He is known as Nolan." A shadow crossed my face. "I have no familiarity with anyone named Nolan." "You don't have to," she whispered, as she wrapped her arms in the warmth of her coat, a hint of longing in her eyes. A lingering, unsettling sensation slithered up my spine. "Naomi," I asked softly, "are you truly saying you're going on a date?" She cast a dismissive glance, as if my feelings were merely a theatrical performance. "Don't be absurd." But then she hesitated, her fingers brushing against the soft fabric of her purse, a moment laden with unspoken longing. And that was the moment I felt it stir within me. The echo of footsteps lingered in the air, stirring a tempest of longing within. I leapt to my feet, the chair screeching in protest against the floor beneath me. I moved with purpose to the window, parting the curtain slightly to catch a glimpse of what lay beyond. And there he stood, a haunting presence that stirred something deep within. A stranger lingered at the edge of our driveway, his hands casually tucked into his pockets, a playful smirk dancing on his lips, igniting a spark of something unspoken within me. He was awakening something deep within her. He stood there, anticipation coursing through him, longing for her presence. A flutter of unease stirred deep within me. "Naomi," I whispered once more, my voice barely above a breath. She breathed out with a sharpness that felt like I was draining her very essence. "I mentioned that I'm stepping out." I found myself drawn to her once more, in his presence. Her gaze met mine, a cool indifference lingering in the air. Indeed, the raw intensity of it stole the air from my chest. I scanned her features for a flicker of doubt, a trace of remorse, anything that might indicate this wasn't precisely as it appeared. Yet, an emptiness lingered. It felt like a subtle ache, as if my presence was a barrier to something deeply significant for her. "Do you truly mean that?" I inquired. Naomi released a heavy sigh, her fingers tracing the contours of her temple. "Listen, Adrian, I never intended for us to delve into this tonight. I had faith that you would possess the maturity to navigate this situation." A wave of unexpected amusement washed over me. "What is there to manage?" She waved her hand between us, a silent acknowledgement of the unspoken tension that lingered in the air. "I crave something deeper than this." She expressed it so clearly, our life, our marriage, and I no longer fulfilled her desires. My gaze lingered on her, a whirlwind of emotions swirling within me as I struggled to comprehend the intensity of the moment. "You're betraying my trust." "Try not to be so intense," she remarked. "So how would you define it?" Naomi clutched her purse tightly, her fingers trembling as she adjusted the fabric of her dress, a rush of conflicting emotions swirling within her. "Delving into the depths of my choices." The word struck me with an unexpected force. Delving into your depths. I severed the connection, my hands clenching into tight fists at my sides, overwhelmed with emotion. "You are my beloved, Naomi." For the moment, she murmured, glancing at her phone. That was the moment, the instant it dawned on me that she was already gone from my grasp. She had distanced herself from our union long before this moment unfolded. I simply overlooked it. Naomi approached the door, yet I positioned myself in her path. "Step aside," she commanded with an icy detachment. "Absolutely not," I insisted. Her eyebrow arched with a mix of intrigue and longing. "I didn't seek permission. You can't simply—" I breathed out with intensity, my fingers tangling in my hair. "Can you truly listen to your own words? You're stepping out of our sanctuary, heading towards his vehicle, as if this is just another day." Naomi wrapped her arms around herself, a barrier against the world. It's common for those who have moved beyond what once was. I tightened my jaw, a storm of feelings brewing within me. "You are my beloved partner." She tilted her head, lost in thought, a flicker of longing in her eyes. "Perhaps. Yet this evening I belong to him." In that moment, she brushed against me, flung the door wide, and stepped boldly into the embrace of another man, leaving a whirlwind of emotions in her wake. I lingered in the doorway, heart racing, fingers clutching the frame, as I witnessed my wife glide into his car, oblivious to my presence. And I came to understand that I wasn't letting her slip away. She was already a memory slipping through my fingers. The house echoed with an emptiness that ached in her absence. As the car vanished from sight, I lingered in the doorway, clutching the frame as if it were my sole anchor in a world swirling with unspoken yearnings. The chill of the outside world crept in, enveloping me, yet I remained blissfully unaware. My thoughts whirled, trapped in a tumultuous dance of disbelief and a simmering intensity that threatened to ignite into fury. I shut the door gently, as if attempting to hold back the chaos she had just unleashed. Yet, despite my desperate attempts to rationalize the situation, to believe that she would return and reveal it was all a cruel jest, deep down, I understood the truth. Naomi was gone, and she moved forward, unburdened by the past. I wandered restlessly through the living room, my thoughts swirling with unanswerable questions that tugged at my heart. Had she been yearning for this moment for weeks? Several months? For how long had she been weaving her web of deception, crafting alibis, while I played the unsuspecting pawn in a game she believed was already hers to claim? The phone lay on the coffee table, a silent witness to the unspoken yearnings that lingered in the air. I grasped it, paused for a moment, then delved into our conversations. They held no secrets, offered no admissions, and provided no forewarnings. Merely the routine, mundane interactions shared between a husband and wife. Myself. Greetings. As you journey home, let the thought of the dry cleaning linger in your mind, a subtle reminder of the everyday tasks that weave through the fabric of our lives. Naomi. A name that stirs a tempest of longing and unspoken yearnings. Understood. Myself. What are your cravings for dinner tonight? Naomi. A name that stirs the depths of longing and unspoken yearnings. My appetite has vanished. Meeting that lingers into the night. Meeting that lingers into the night. I should have recognized it back then. My fingers clenched around the phone, a rush of longing coursing through me. My heart raced within its cage as a shadowy longing seeped into my mind. Could this truly be the beginning of something uncharted? Had she been slipping away for ages while I remained oblivious, lost in my own thoughts? Oblivious yet at ease? A longing ignited deep within me. I felt an overwhelming urge to escape the confines of my home. I snatched my keys and jacket, uncertainty swirling within me. Yet I understood that remaining here and feigning normalcy was no longer an option. The engine roared to life, shattering the stillness of the deserted driveway, awakening a thrill that lingered just beneath the surface. As I pulled away, my gaze lingered on the place where Vincent's car once stood. The specter of it remained, taunting my very soul. I found myself on the road, steering without purpose, lost in a haze of longing. My hands clutched the wheel with such intensity that my knuckles blanched, a surge of longing coursing through me. There was no clear path ahead, only an overwhelming urge to escape and explore the depths of my longing. The image of Naomi, her laughter intertwining with his, her fingers brushing against him, her gaze lingering on him as it once did on me, unleashed a torrent of turmoil within me. I had to experience it once more. The revelation struck me with an intensity one couldn't ignore. I couldn't remain idle, lost in contemplation. I had to uncover the truth within me. I unlocked my phone, and her location appeared before me, stirring something deep within. A fleeting flicker, a treachery cloaked in digital whispers. A restaurant, an exquisite one, the sort we hadn't visited in ages. A chilling, anguished laugh slipped from my lips. She had whispered that we needed to tighten our belts, that the nights out should fade into memory, that the warmth of home-cooked meals was where our hearts belonged. Yet, there she found herself, nestled in a shadowy booth, savoring the taste of expensive wine in the company of another man. I regret my decision to go. I ought to have walked away. Allow her the freedom to decide. Allow her to think I was too shattered to respond. Yet, a deep yearning within me held me back. 15 minutes later, I found myself lingering in my car, parked just across the street from the restaurant, my heart racing with anticipation. Through the expansive glass windows, I caught a glimpse of them. Naomi leaned in, her chin cradled in her hand, her gaze entwined with Vincent's, as if he were the most captivating soul she had ever encountered. Her laughter danced through the air, a melody I had longed for, a sound that had been absent from my life for what felt like an eternity. It was as if my very essence had been wiped away, leaving only an echo of what once was. It felt as though I had already faded from her existence, leaving her in a state of longing, anticipating the moment when reality would finally align with the truth of our separation. My hands clenched tightly, a storm of feelings brewing within. This was more than merely a date. It was a revelation. In that moment, uncertainty washed over me, leaving me questioning my readiness for the unfolding journey ahead. I knew I should have walked away. I could have locked the door, returned to the safety of my routine, and allowed Naomi to pursue her elusive dreams. Yet I refrained. I sat there, hands clenched around the steering wheel, gazing through the rain-drenched windshield as my wife, beamed at another man as if I were a ghost, lost in the shadows of her world. It was a smile that held secrets, a spark of something deeper, something that danced on the edge of what should remain unspoken. No, this was deeply personal, playful, brimming with a longing she hadn't revealed to me in ages. It stirred a tempest within me. Once I was that person. That was once my sanctuary. My heart raced in my fingertips, each breath quickening, betraying the intensity of the moment. Surprisingly, I found myself devoid of the anger I thought would consume me. I felt an emptiness, a disconnection, as if I were merely an observer in a film that belonged to another, fully aware of the inevitable conclusion that awaited. She had made her choice, but did she truly believe I would simply stand by and allow her to take control? I willed myself to inhale deeply, seeking calmness in the tremor of my fingers. If I stepped into that restaurant, what words could possibly escape my lips? That I had discovered her secret? That I possessed evidence of what she had not even attempted to conceal? That's not the path I yearned for. I yearned to witness it firsthand. I swung open my car door, stepping into the crisp embrace of the evening chill. A part of me yearned for her gaze to lift, for our eyes to connect across the distance, and for her to reveal even the slightest hint of remorse. A flicker of acknowledgement that I existed, that I wasn't merely a ghost in the life she had chosen to abandon. Yet her gaze remained elsewhere. Never. As I approached the restaurant entrance, each step was measured, infused with a sense of longing and anticipation. I wasn't going to let this moment slip away. I found myself lost in contemplation. I was curious to witness the depths of her passion when she believed she was alone, free to explore her hidden yearnings. Within the walls, a rich aroma of seared meat and fine wine enveloped the senses, stirring something deep and unspoken. In the shadowy embrace of the dimly lit booths, couples lingered, their whispers mingling with the sultry notes of soft jazz that floated through the air. I navigated the dimly lit space with caution, finding solace in the shadows as I settled into an unoccupied bar seat. From this hidden vantage point, I could observe their table, my presence undetected. Naomi spoke with a fervor that ignited the air around her, her hands dancing expressively, her face radiating a vibrancy that had long been absent from her life. Vincent's gaze was fixed on her, as if she were the sole beacon in his universe. His nods and smiles a silent acknowledgement of an unspoken connection, leaning in just enough to reveal his awareness of the delicate dance they were engaged in. And then I felt it stir within me. His hand lingered on her knee, igniting a spark that stirred deep within her soul. She lingered, caught in the moment. She moved forward without a moment's doubt. She intertwined her fingers with his, as if the universe had conspired to bring them together in that moment, a silent acknowledgement of the unspoken longing that pulsed between them. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of unspoken longing in my chest. And here we are, at the precipice of something profound. The revelation I had longed for, the instant I could no longer deceive my own heart. My wife was delving into a world of uncharted feelings. She had slipped away, leaving behind an ache that lingered in the shadows of memory. The bartender glided over, a knowing glint in their eye, inquiring if I desired a drink. I dismissed him with a wave, my thoughts a chaotic whirlwind, consumed solely by the intoxicating moment unfolding before my eyes. What was I meant to do? Create a moment? To face her now, under the gaze of all those watching? What would that truly reveal? I longed for her to experience a spark within her soul, to grasp the profound significance of her actions. Yet, her laughter echoed in the air, a melody of joy that stirred something deep within. Not a laugh tinged with anxiety, not one burdened by doubt. A heartfelt, authentic laugh, as if joy had been a distant memory, buried beneath layers of longing. In that moment, I found myself torn between the pain of betrayal and the haunting realization that she was experiencing joy in the arms of another. I lingered in that moment, observing a side of my wife that felt distant, a reflection of someone I once knew but no longer possessed. And then, in a moment of weakness, I found myself crossing a line I never imagined I would dare to approach. I reached for my phone, capturing a moment that felt both exhilarating and forbidden. Of them, of their entwined fingers, a silent promise of longing and unspoken yearnings. Of her smile, a spark ignited deep within, awakening feelings long buried, a bittersweet longing that danced on the edge of what should not be. Evidence. I found myself at a crossroads, uncertain of how to navigate the tangled emotions that lay before me. Yet, there was a truth that resonated deep within me. This was merely the beginning. This marked the dawn of something profound. The car hummed softly as I navigated the familiar roads, lost in a whirlwind of thoughts and unspoken feelings. A silence that wraps around you like a heavy shroud, oppressive and stifling, invading your mind and clinging to your very essence like an unwelcome shadow. My fingers clutched the steering wheel with an intensity that betrayed my calm exterior, knuckles pale and tense. Yet I remained blissfully unaware. All I could see was that haunting image etched in my memory. Naomi, laughing, her hand intertwined with his, her entire being leaning into him as if she had never truly been mine. I should have felt a tempest of fury. I should have let it engulf me, howling in anguish, shattering everything around me, seeking answers to questions I knew were futile. Yet I felt no anger. I felt a profound void within me. For the past few years, I had been clinging to a haunting presence. The Naomi who once held my heart, who made the choice to be with me, who crafted a life intertwined with mine. I had deluded myself into believing that she lingered within, that with enough effort, with a transformation into everything she desired, she would return to my side. But tonight, as I lingered across the street from that restaurant, the truth unveiled itself to me at last. She had slipped away, leaving behind a haunting absence that echoed in the depths of her heart. By the time I pulled into the driveway, the house felt foreign, like it wasn't mine anymore. It felt as though I was wandering through a space once inhabited by another soul, where echoes of passion lingered in the air, yet the vibrant hues of those memories had dulled over time. As I crossed the threshold and shut the door, a profound realization washed over me. This was the moment I truly grasped the weight of solitude. The scent of her perfume hung in the air, a haunting reminder of what once was. The soft, Relentless ticking of the clock in the hallway echoed like a heartbeat, amplifying the tension in the air. I stepped into the kitchen, my heart fluttering at the thought of her presence, lost in the rhythm of her culinary dance or savoring a moment with a glass of wine. Yet the void lingered, echoing the desolation that filled every corner of the home. I lingered at the dining table, lost in thought, as my mind vividly revisited each fleeting moment of the night, a bittersweet ache coursing through me. Her deliberate dismissal felt like a haunting echo in my heart. Her stride, unwavering as she moved by, ignited a spark within me. Her presence across from him was electric, each touch a whisper of secrets, fragments of her soul laid bare in a way she had never allowed me to see. In a moment of distraction, my fingers found their way to my phone. The image lingered, a haunting reminder of what once was. A solitary image freezing the instant my union crumbled into dust. Her fingers intertwined with his, a spark igniting in the shadows of their connection. Her smile danced on her lips, a secret meant for someone else. A fleeting glimpse of a world she was crafting, one that no longer included my presence. I gazed at it, lost in a whirlwind of longing and unspoken yearnings. Perhaps I should erase it. Imagine if I had never laid eyes on it before. Retreat into the night, only to rise with the dawn, as if the world around you remained untouched by the whispers of longing. Yet an undeniable shift had occurred, and no facade could ever erase that truth. In a moment of impulsive longing, I found myself drawn to our messages. For a fleeting instant, I lingered, my thumb poised above the keyboard, my mind a whirlwind of tangled emotions. What was I meant to express? Was I aware of that? That I had experienced it all? That I had been sitting in the same damn restaurant, feeling like a ghost to her as she carelessly discarded the years we shared, as if they held no value at all? In that fleeting moment, overwhelmed by a rush of feelings, my fingers danced across the keyboard. I wonder if he truly deserved the risk taken. I lingered over the words, lost in their depths for what felt like an eternity. In that moment, I gathered my courage and pressed send, feeling the weight of unspoken feelings surge within me. The message arrived with an undeniable urgency. No acknowledgement received, no response. Only the stillness remains. I sank into my chair, my fingers brushing against my skin, releasing a deep, lingering breath. Perhaps she would choose silence. Perhaps she would catch a glimpse of it, dismiss it with a sigh, and retreat once more into the enchanting world of her own making. Or perhaps, just perhaps, she would awaken to a longing deep within her. My heart was a tangled web of uncertainty, lost in the shadows of longing. A heartfelt expression of regret? Could you provide some clarity? Retribution? None of it could alter the truth that she had departed from my life long before this moment arrived. I rose to my feet, my body weighed down by a profound fatigue, and slowly ventured toward the bedroom. Its scent lingered, a haunting reminder of her presence. The sheets, the pillows, and the very air seemed to whisper her name, echoing the haunting essence of what once was. I nestled into bed, gazing at the ceiling, yearning for the embrace of sleep that I sensed would elude me. Just as I began to lose myself in the swirling depths of my restless mind, my phone vibrated, pulling me back to reality. A solitary message from Naomi, stirring something deep within. You can't possibly grasp the depths of this feeling. I gazed at it, my heart racing with unspoken longing. My heart raced, thoughts swirling with tantalizing possibilities. Yet, just as I was about to craft my reply, another message emerged, stirring something deep within me. We must have a conversation. Rest eluded me. How could I possibly resist? With each flutter of my eyelids, her image danced in my mind, igniting a longing that felt both exhilarating and forbidden. Not the Naomi I had cherished, but the one I had observed from afar in that restaurant, gazing at another man as if I had never been a part of her world. I lay there, gazing at the ceiling, my thoughts swirling in a tempest of longing and uncertainty, grappling with questions that both thrilled and terrified me. Her message lingered on my phone, a silent promise of chaos and longing. You can't possibly grasp the depths of this feeling. Comprehend what? That she had distanced herself from our union long before now? That I was merely a remnant of her history as she crafted a new tomorrow with another? For years, I poured my heart into deciphering her, striving to bridge the distance between us, yearning to become the partner she longed for. And ultimately, it was of no consequence. Her second message arrived soon after, stirring a mix of anticipation and longing within me. We must have a conversation. I remained silent. Initially, it wasn't the case. Allow her to ponder just this once. Allow her to linger in the quiet, reflecting on her choices and the weight of her actions. Perhaps she anticipated my pleas, a desperate call for her return, a display of the vulnerability she had long since outgrown. Yet, I refused to embrace that part any longer. By morning, my body ached as if it had been torn apart, each sensation a reminder of the tumultuous night that had unfolded. My body throbbed with a deep ache, my mind was clouded with relentless pressure, and an emptiness echoed within my chest. The house resonated with an unfamiliar energy, as if it had transformed into a realm where I was an unwelcome stranger. Each space resonated with her presence, the scent of her lingering like a haunting melody, her hairbrush resting on the bathroom counter as if waiting for her touch, the half-drunk coffee mug she abandoned in the sink a silent reminder of her fleeting moments. I wandered through the house in a haze, brewing coffee I had no desire for, my gaze fixed on my phone yet truly absent from its screen. At precisely 8:32 a.m., her voice broke through the silence. I allowed it to ring, the sound echoing in the silence of my heart. Her voice echoed once more, stirring something deep within, and once more. By the fourth time, an awakening stirred deep within me. I replied, my voice trembling with fatigue. What is this? In that fleeting instant, the world held its breath. Perhaps she was caught off guard by my response. Perhaps she had steeled herself for the coldness of voicemail, crafting a delicate speech in her mind, hoping it would mend the frayed edges of their connection. Then she released a breath, trembling and drawn out, as if the weight of her emotions hung in the air. Adrian, Aya. When she uttered my name, it stirred something deep within me. It felt like a distant memory, as if it were a part of someone else's life, as if I had transformed into someone unrecognizable, a shadow of the man she had once adored with such tenderness. What did you say? I inquired, my tone devoid of emotion. She lingered in uncertainty. Is it possible for us to come together? A soft chuckle escaped me, tinged with a bittersweet longing. Shall we connect? As though we were two souls navigating the complexities of our hidden yearnings. As though the events of last night were merely a fleeting dream. It felt as though she had stepped out of our shared world and into the embrace of another, leaving me to grapple with the ache of my own insignificance. Absolutely not, I replied. Is that you, Adrian? Is this what you truly desired, Naomi? Don't pretend to be taken aback now. Her breath caught in her throat. You have no idea of the depths that lie beneath the surface. I shut my eyes, pressing my fingers against the bridge of my nose, feeling the weight of unspoken longings wash over me. What lies beneath the surface of the tale? Are you referring to the moment when your fingers intertwined with his? Or the moment when your laughter echoed like a secret shared between two souls, lost in the thrill of an unforgettable connection? Stillness. I allowed it to linger in the air, letting her feel the heaviness of our unspoken connection. At last, her voice broke the silence. It's deeper than appearances suggest. A pained laugh slipped from my lips. Oh, how uniquely captivating. Please, she murmured, her voice trembling with longing. Simply come to me. I wish I had turned away. I should have sent her away to confront her chaos alone, instead of allowing her to pull me back into the turmoil. Yet, a fragment of my soul, the one yearning for clarity, the one that clung to the past, whispered a different truth. Very well, I whispered softly. 60 fleeting minutes. Our secret haven. I ended the call, silencing her voice before it could weave its way deeper into my thoughts. The coffee shop felt like a hidden sanctuary, its emptiness wrapping around me like a secret waiting to be uncovered. It was one of those enchanting spots we frequented in the early days of our romance, a time when everything felt effortless, before the complexities of life crept in. The idea twisted in my stomach, a bittersweet ache that lingered far too long. Naomi sat by the window, her hands cradling a cup that remained untouched, lost in a world of unspoken longing. When she caught sight of me, her expression blossomed with a flicker of relief, yet I remained unmoved. I settled into the chair opposite her, my arms folded tightly, anticipation hanging in the air. Her gaze lingered on me, as if she were delving deep into the unspoken truths hidden within my eyes. Your weariness is palpable. Indeed, discovering that your partner has sought affection elsewhere can stir deep feelings within you. She recoiled slightly, her gaze dropping to the swirling depths of her coffee. It's not what you think. I let out a derisive laugh. So, reveal your truth to me, Naomi. What does it feel like? She felt a wave of emotion wash over her. This was never part of my intentions. Oh, how delightful, I remarked, my voice laced with a bittersweet edge. Her gaze shot up to mine, a tempest of frustration dancing within them. May I have a moment to share my thoughts? I leaned back, my arms tightly crossed, a whirlwind of feelings swirling within me. Proceed. Elaborate. She inhaled deeply, feeling the weight of unspoken yearnings within her. Vincent stands apart. He awakens a passion within me that I thought was lost forever. A chill unfurled within me, stirring a deep unease. And I simply cannot. She shuddered. It's more complex than it seems. It is for me. She let out a breath, her head shaking in disbelief. For what seemed like an eternity, I wandered through the shadows, Adrian. Yet I found myself unable to turn away, despite my efforts. Yet, a void lingered in the depths of my heart. And when I encountered Vincent, I raised a hand in a moment of hesitation. Cease. Simply cease. This was something I never wanted to confront. It was unbearable to be face to face with the woman who held my heart. Hearing her words pierce through me, declaring that I was insufficient. What is the purpose of our existence, Naomi? I inquired, my voice heavy with unspoken longing. What is it that you seek from me? She lingered in uncertainty. I find myself lost in uncertainty. I released a hollow chuckle. Wow, that stirs something deep within. She hesitated, caught in a moment of longing. I can't bear the thought of losing you entirely. I stood still, caught in a moment of intense longing. The boldness of it left me gasping, a whirlwind of feelings swirling within me. Are you afraid of letting me go? I whispered softly, my voice laced with a haunting intensity. Naomi, you captivated me the moment you stepped into his car. Her expression hinted at a struggle, a yearning to voice the words that might untangle the complexities of the moment. Yet, she chose not to, because she felt the truth in my words. I rose, sliding the chair away with a quiet determination. I truly wish for your happiness with him. Adrian. I turned away before her words could linger in the air. After so long, I found myself no longer pursuing her. And in that moment, after all this time, I understood that I was free to choose differently. The atmosphere beyond the cafe brimmed with an intoxicating allure. Perhaps it was the burden of all that had transpired. Or perhaps it was the awakening to the truth of Naomi's essence, revealing layers I had long overlooked. In that suspended moment, I found myself captivated by my own reflection in the window, my gaze drawn to her, lingering inside, hands cradling a coffee cup that remained untouched, a silent testament to unspoken yearnings. She appeared as if she belonged to another world. For years, I clung to a memory of her that had faded into the shadows of time. The woman I once called my own, the one who would chuckle at my silly quips, who would grasp my hand simply for the joy of it, who would gaze at me as if I were the sole being in existence. Her absence lingered in the air, a haunting reminder of what once was. I found myself grasping at the remnants of what once was, believing that with enough effort, I could resurrect her from the shadows of my memory. Yet, the echoes of the past linger, haunting the corners of the heart. And Naomi? She had departed long before she ever took that final step away. I lingered, unable to return to the familiar comforts of home just yet. Wasn't able to. The house had lost its warmth, no longer embracing me as it once did. It was as if I wandered through the remnants of a past, each moment a haunting echo of what once was, stirring a longing that defied reason. So instead I took to the road. Endless wandering. No blueprint for the heart. The soft thrum of the engine mingles with the fleeting glow of streetlights, each moment a whisper of longing in the night. I reflected on the moments when I turned a blind eye to the whispers of my heart. The lingering nights, the journeys for work, the manner in which she gradually distanced herself, leaving silence in her wake, was haunting. Did she ever truly feel love for me? Or was I merely a fleeting temptation? The question lingered like a smoldering ember in the depths of my thoughts. Yet the answer was a haunting whisper I could not escape. There I was, lingering in the shadows of my best friend's home, caught in a moment that felt both familiar and forbidden. Nathan. He was the type of man who seemed to possess a response for every question, regardless of whether it was sought after or not. In this moment, I craved a voice to reassure me that I was still anchored in reality. I knocked twice, and when he finally opened the door, he blinked at me, as if grappling with the uncertainty of my existence. "Is it you, Adrian?" "Indeed." My voice emerged, raw and unrefined, as if the silence had wrapped around me for far too long. His gaze brushed against my features, absorbing the chaos that lay within. In that moment, he moved aside, creating a space filled with unspoken tension. "Step inside." As I stepped inside, the intoxicating aroma of beer and takeout enveloped me, stirring something deep within. His apartment remained unchanged, a familiar backdrop to the unspoken longings that lingered in the air. Intensely familiar yet thrillingly unpredictable, the kind of space where every element seemed to belong, even in its delightful disarray. He closed the door softly, then wrapped his arms around himself, a barrier between us and the world outside. "Your appearance is quite disheveled." A fleeting, bitter laugh escaped my lips. "I feel a deep sense of longing." He gazed at me for a moment, a silent understanding passing between us, before gesturing toward the couch. "Take a seat. Speak your heart." I sank onto the couch, fingers tangling in my hair, lost in a whirlwind of thoughts and feelings. "She has been entangled in a secret affair." Nathan's expression remained unchanged, as if he had anticipated this moment all along. "Not in the slightest." "Indeed. I see." I jerked my gaze upward. "What is this?" He let out a heavy breath, his fingers brushing against his skin as if seeking solace in the moment. "I lacked the evidence, my friend. Yet, I witnessed moments that stirred something deep within me. Text her actions, her treatment of you, stirred something deep within." She lingered just out of reach, a haunting absence that stirred something deep within. It felt as though she was yearning for a reason to break free. A heavy, lingering sensation began to unfurl within me. "And you kept this from me?" His gaze met mine, a veil of mystery cloaking his true feelings. "Could you have ever imagined it?" I parted my lips, brimming with unspoken thoughts, prepared to challenge the silence that enveloped us. Yet, in that moment I hesitated, for he held the truth within his grasp. I poured countless hours into justifying her actions, telling myself that if I allowed her the distance she needed, if I clung to hope just a bit longer, everything would return to the way it once was. Yet, it seemed they were destined to remain unfulfilled. I leaned in closer, my elbows finding a home on my knees, a sense of longing stirring within me. She yearned for the encounter. I expressed my confusion. Nathan let out a derisive snort. "What is it that you truly grasp?" "That she's a self-centered individual." I dismissed him with a subtle shake of my head, a silent barrier between us. She expressed a deep fear of losing me entirely. His gaze lingered on me, steady and composed. He grasped the beer on the table, savored a long sip, and remarked, "That's the most foolish thing I've ever heard." I chuckled softly, a bittersweet echo of something deeper stirring within me. Yet it lacked the warmth of true joy. "Indeed, that's quite accurate." She strides away, betrays your trust, flaunts her actions before you, and now she fears the thought of losing you? He reclined, a bittersweet smile playing on his lips as he slowly shook his head. Adrian, that's not what love feels like. That's the essence of power. She craves the thrill of your attention while she indulges in her own whims, leaving you in a state of longing. I was aware of that. In the depths of my soul, a truth had lingered, waiting to be acknowledged. Yet, when the words escaped into the air, they transformed into a tangible truth that caught me off guard. Nathan gazed at me intently for a moment, then inquired, "So what will you choose to do?" I let out a breath, sinking into the embrace of the couch. I find myself lost in a whirlwind of feelings, unsure of where to turn. Here's a thought that stirs the heart. He leaned in, his elbows pressing against his knees, a silent tension hanging in the air. Resist the urge to fulfill her desires. A shadow crossed my face. What are you trying to say? She yearns to have you close, doesn't she? Hold you close, the secret solace, the hidden option. Resist the urge to let her in. His hand moved with an air of uncertainty, as if caught in a moment of longing. Sever the ties. Reclaim your existence. In the midst of this turmoil, perhaps it's time to seal away the past, to safeguard what remains untouchable. I ran my fingers over my face, feeling the weight of unspoken longing. It's far more complex than it appears. Indeed, it truly is. His gaze lingered, filled with unspoken longing. Do you believe she paused even for a moment before indulging in secret encounters away from you? Do you believe she lingered in torment, questioning if this was truly the path she should take? No. She followed her heart's deepest yearnings. Now is the time to embrace your deepest yearnings. After what feels like an eternity, I finally allowed myself to entertain that thought. What if I let go of all my worries? What if I embraced my own desires and took charge of my choices instead of waiting for her to reveal her heart? I had devoted countless hours to a union that seemed to exist solely in the grasp of one, while the other drifted away, lost in the shadows of unspoken yearnings. Perhaps it was the moment to release what had been held so tightly. I rose to my feet. I longed to return to the place where my heart feels most alive. Nathan arched an eyebrow, a flicker of intrigue dancing in his gaze. Are you okay? Not quite there. I clutched my keys tightly. Yet, I shall become. As I drove back, a deep longing stirred within me. I refused to plead. I had no intention of pursuing her. Naomi had embraced her decision, a choice that stirred something deep within her, awakening feelings she thought were long buried. And now I was embracing my own. I drove into the driveway, my hands tightly clutching the steering wheel, gazing at the house that had lost its sense of belonging. The darkness lingered, just as I had chosen to leave it. Yet, an undeniable shift lingered in the air. Perhaps it was my own heart that led me astray. Perhaps it was the awakening to the truth that I had devoted so much time to grasping at shadows, only to find them forever beyond my reach. I emerged from the car, each step weighted with a mix of anticipation and longing as I approached the front door. As the keys danced in my grasp, anticipation surged within me, but the sudden buzz of my phone shattered the moment, pulling me back from the brink of what could be. I retrieved it, hoping for yet another note from Naomi, another effort to illuminate the inexplicable. Yet it was not her. It was her, the one who stirred feelings long buried, awakening a longing that felt both thrilling and wrong. My heart raced as I paused, caught in the tension of the moment. She was the one I least desired to engage with at this moment, not due to a lack of love, but because she would sense it in the tremor of my voice. The burden, the weariness, the slow disintegration of all I once cherished. Yet I responded, "Hey Helen." The silence lingered, heavy with unspoken thoughts, until her voice broke through, soft and tender. "Are you all right, my dear?" I shut my eyes, surrendering to the depths of my longing. She had always sensed it deep within her soul. Though I kept it hidden, she sensed the truth within me. Indeed, I confessed. Not quite. A moment of stillness lingers. So, shall we delve into it together? My heart whispered a refusal. I longed to create an illusion of having everything perfectly managed. Yet the reality was that I truly did not. And for once, I found myself too vulnerable to mask the truth. "She's betraying me," I whispered, the phrase feeling strange and heavy on my tongue. My gaze fell upon her. She embraced it openly, unashamed and raw, a breath caught in the depths of longing. "Oh, Adrian," I settled onto the front steps, fingers tangling in my hair, lost in a whirlwind of thoughts and feelings. She whispered that she fears losing me entirely, that she longs for my presence in her world. I laughed, yet the sound felt empty and devoid of true joy, as if I should simply linger in the shadows while she pursues her whims without a care for my feelings. My Helen lingered in silence, her thoughts heavy with unspoken truths. In that moment, her words pierced through the air, catching me off guard in a way I never anticipated. "Do you recall the days of your childhood, when that cherished toy truck held the essence of adventure and dreams?" A shadow crossed my face. "What is this?" "The crimson hue. Your passion was so intense that even when everything fell apart, you relentlessly sought to mend it. You clung to it, despite the fading spark that once ignited your heart." I blinked, and suddenly, the memory flooded my mind. That wretched truck. I had clung to it relentlessly, even when it had become merely a shadow of its former self. She pressed on, her voice unwavering. "I recall a moment when your father took you aside and said, 'Adrian, there are times when things shatter beyond repair, and in those moments, clinging to them only deepens the pain within you.'" I took a deep breath, my gaze fixed on the fissures in the ground below me. "She has shattered this," my Helen whispered softly, a hint of sorrow in her voice, "and you cannot mend it by yourself." Emotions surged within me, a tempest I struggled to contain, yet I held back the tide of sorrow. "I understand," I murmured, and in that moment, I truly felt it. The house enveloped me in its chill as I crossed the threshold, yet I hardly felt it at all. My body glided through the shadowy spaces, navigating past the framed memories that now seemed like relics from a distant past, stirring something deep within me. I paused in the dimly lit hallway, my gaze fixated on the wedding photo that adorned the wall, a bittersweet reminder of what once was. Naomi's smile radiated warmth, her arms enveloping me, her gaze shimmering with a spark that felt both exhilarating and hauntingly familiar. I extended my hand, my fingertips gliding over the surface, and in a moment of impulsive longing, I liberated it from its place on the wall. For a fleeting instant, I simply embraced it. With a trembling hand, I gently flipped it over, unfastened the back, and carefully drew the photo from its hidden embrace. The vacant frame seemed to float in my grasp. I set it down on the console table, its surface hidden from view, and turned away, a rush of unspoken feelings swirling within me. In the bedroom, her side of the closet remained untouched, a haunting reminder of what once was. Gowns, tailored coats, and meticulously arranged footwear. Signs of her lingering presence still filled this place. Proof that a part of her remained tethered to our world, even as she ventured into the allure of the unknown. I gazed at it, lost in a whirlwind of longing and unspoken yearnings. In that moment, I reached for a box, a vessel of hidden emotions and unspoken yearnings. I held on to everything tightly. I didn't shatter their essence. I have begun the process of gathering my belongings. Garment after garment, each shoe and scarf, every fragment of her that I had once held dear. Each trace of her essence lingers within these walls. When I finally stepped away, the closet seemed transformed, charged with an unspoken tension that lingered in the air. Brighter, as if I had just found the air I had been longing for. And then I felt it stir within me. A delicate velvet box, hidden in the shadows, whispers secrets of longing and unspoken yearnings. My breath hitched in my throat as I grasped it, my fingers quivering with anticipation as I opened it. The pendant. Last year, I chose it as a gift for her anniversary. A fragile silver chain adorned with a tiny sapphire pendant, a symbol of her very essence. For weeks, I searched tirelessly for that special something, a token of significance that would convey the depth of my feelings for her, a reminder of the bond we once shared. She had donned it just a single time, And now it lingers here, overlooked, gathering dust like the passion she had cast aside. I tightened my jaw, then forcefully closed the box. The moment had arrived. The following morning, Naomi returned home. As I sat at the kitchen table, cradling my coffee, the sound of the front door creaking open sent a shiver of anticipation through me. Her heels echoed softly against the hardwood floor as she entered, halting in her tracks when our eyes met. In the heavy silence, words hung unspoken between us, charged with an unacknowledged longing. Then she let out a soft sigh, placing her purse gently on the table. Adrian. My heart aches with a longing that feels both exhilarating and forbidden. I savored the warmth of the coffee as I let it linger on my lips, each sip awakening a rush of unspoken feelings within me. Awakening. Her brow furrowed, a subtle tension in her stance. We must have a conversation. I beckoned toward the chair opposite me, an invitation laced with unspoken tension. Proceed. She paused, her heart racing, before finally taking a seat. She appeared weary, her makeup a blurred reflection of her emotions, her hair a wild testament to the chaos within. I found myself pondering whether Vincent had left her behind, a lingering thought that stirred something deep within me. She clasped her hands together on the table, a silent testament to the tumultuous feelings swirling within her. I yearn for peace, not conflict. Neither do I replied with a quiet intensity. She let out a breath, heavy with unspoken longing. I can feel the weight of your pain. I tilted my head, a rush of unspoken feelings swirling within me. Do you feel it? She hesitated, yet continued with fervor. I found myself lost in a moment of weakness. I reclined in my chair, anticipation coursing through me. She bit her lip, weighing her next words with a mix of longing and trepidation. I can't bear the thought of losing you, Adrian. I understand the pain I've caused you, yet I dismissed her with a subtle shake of my head, the weight of unspoken feelings lingering in the air. Naomi, a name that stirs something deep within, a whisper of longing that cannot be ignored. She paused, caught in a moment of longing. Our eyes locked in a moment charged with unspoken longing. You have already taken that step. Her breath caught in her throat, fingers entwining with a desperate urgency. What is this? I slid the delicate box toward her, the one containing the necklace she had always overlooked, yet it held a weight of unspoken longing between us. She gazed at it, a swirl of conflicting emotions stirring within her. What is this feeling stirring within me? A whisper, a haunting echo of all that you have cast aside. Her gaze lingered on it, then shifted to me, a silent tension hanging in the air. Her lower lip quivered ever so slightly, yet I found no sympathy stirring within me. Never again. I rose to my feet, my fingers curling around the keys, a rush of anticipation coursing through me. I gathered your belongings, I whispered, gesturing to the boxes piled carefully in the corner. Take whatever else your heart longs for. Yet, after today, I wish to never encounter you in this place again. She blinked, caught in a moment that stirred something deep within her. Adrian. Absolutely not, I declared with conviction. Your decision has been made. Now I'm embracing my own journey. Her breath caught in her throat, fingers trembling as she extended them toward the box, a mix of longing and trepidation swirling within her. And there it is. Our eyes locked for a fleeting moment, a silent acknowledgement of the unspoken longing that lingered between us. That's all there is. As I stepped outside, I felt the weight of her absence, a bittersweet ache pulling at my heart. In that moment, a rush of liberation washed over me, awakening feelings long buried. I stepped through that threshold, and for the first time in ages, I felt an exhilarating freedom, unburdened by the weight of the past. The burden that had long held me captive, the relentless ache that suffocated my spirit, had finally lifted, leaving me breathless with newfound freedom. I had devoted countless moments pursuing a shadow of what once was, unaware that it had faded long before I even noticed. But what about now? At last, I found myself unbound. I slipped into my car and let the engine hum to life, surrendering to the road ahead. With no destination in sight and no plan to follow, It was just me and the endless road ahead, awakening to the truth that my life was far from finished. The journey was only starting to unfold. I lost track of time as I drove, and eventually, I found myself parked at the serene edge of a secluded lake, just beyond the town's borders. The water mirrored the warm, golden light of the morning sun, and in that moment, I felt an exhilarating sense of freedom, as if I could finally inhale deeply after an eternity of restraint. I emerged from the car, the cool breeze brushing against my skin, and I found myself laughing, truly laughing. It was a melody that stirred something deep within me, awakening feelings I had long buried. It was undeniably profound. As I stood there, gazing at the sun emerging from the horizon, a profound realization washed over me. Fear gripped my heart at the thought of losing Naomi, haunted by the shadows of solitude, haunted by the thought that her absence would shatter my world. Yet I found myself whole despite the chaos within. I was piecing myself back together. A soft vibration stirred within my pocket, a reminder of something unspoken and yearning. A note from Nathan. "Nathan, are you feeling all right?" A smile crept across my face as I began to type a response. I feel a sense of renewal that I haven't experienced in a long time, for it was undeniably real. That night, as I gathered the remnants of Naomi's presence, changed the locks, a wave of liberation washed over me. For the first time in ages, I sensed the stirring of my own life returning to me. The time for hesitation has passed, letting go of dreams that were always just out of reach. The following weeks unfolded with a weight that was hard to bear. There were instances when the solitude enveloped me, when the stillness of the home resonated with an overwhelming weight. Yet, each time I sensed the pull of what once was, I whispered to myself that I was worthy of something greater. I found myself returning to the gym once more. I found myself drawn back to the warmth of familiar faces from my past. I embraced a promotion at work that once filled me with trepidation. I found again the joys that once filled my heart, the ones that were untouched by Naomi's presence. And then, one evening, a surge of longing stirred within me, igniting a spark I thought was long extinguished. In a quiet corner of the bookstore, I found myself enveloped in the world of a novel, when a gentle voice broke the spell, whispering, "You have exquisite taste." As I raised my gaze, she appeared before me, a vision that stirred something deep within. Not Naomi, a fresh presence. She was known as Aurora. Her gaze was warm, her smile radiant, and the way she looked at me filled me with a sense of importance, as if I were the only one that mattered. As we began to converse, an unfamiliar warmth surged within me, awakening feelings I believed had faded into oblivion. Longing. Months passed, and there I was again, by that familiar lake, lost in the hues of the sunset. This time, I felt the weight of another's presence beside me. Aurora sat beside me, her fingers teasingly grazing against mine, igniting a spark that felt both thrilling and dangerous. She remained blissfully unaware of the shadows that lingered in my past, and perhaps that was for the best. For the first time in my life, I felt liberated from the shadows of my past. I found myself yearning for what lay ahead. As I lingered in that moment, the heat of her hand intertwined with mine. A profound realization washed over me. The absence of Naomi marked not a conclusion, but the beginning of a profound journey within myself. It was merely the dawn of something profoundly transformative.